Hello folks and welcome to the channel. Today we're at the Human Comedy. We're continuing this run of missions that we're going to complete for version 1.27 before the release of PSVR. And today we're on to Trail Mountain, the 1 hour endurance series. The back mono is the only choosable car around Trail Mountain. It's around about 60 minutes, so work out what the lap time is. That'll give you the number of the laps. We're going to be on sports medium or sports tyres. I think we're going to go sports soft. Power of 304 brake horsepower or less. 580 kilograms at least, so we can't reduce anything less. Prohibited nitrous. It's the one choice of car. It's a field of back monos to go against. Let's have a look at the settings. As we go, we're going to start on softs. That'll get better cornering speed. I've been into the auto shop and I've changed the wheels and made them wider. That'll give us hopefully more contact patch and a greater spread of road. We're using soft tyres as said. Fully customizable suspension, everything default. Fully customizable diff, everything default. Fully customizable racing gearbox. We've got ECU is normal. Downforce you can't change. Air cleaner normal. Silencer are all normal. Carbon brake system, carbon racing pads, and then we've got the increased body rigidity. We've got the brake controller bought, and we've chucked the brake balance all the way to the rear. That'll save the weight on the front tyres. And I say we've got the clutch, we've got the racing flywheel. If there was anything else that increased the weight, you wouldn't really want to put it. You can't apply anything, so we couldn't put a prop shaft on because that would reduce the weight, so that wouldn't work unless we added a complementary weight mod. There's no weight reductions we can do, and any of these would increase the power beyond the 304, so we can't do that. Let's go to the race. So, ranking board, let's have a look what our friends have done in the past. Mr. Maguire's actually hit 30 laps. Broccoli, he's hit 29, same as us, but he's been faster than me in his Red Bull liveried black mono. NW555's up there, JB's up there on 29. Everybody's pretty much equal from 12th place and above. Look, Paul Walker's in there. 28 laps, which is very respectable. Iceman's there. This is one of those races that you'll do once and never return to it. So if you haven't done it again, folks, this is a great example of trying to just optimise and get yourself to the front of the crew. Top 10 stars, look at them on 30 laps. We're going to probably try and run 2 pit stops, one at 20 minutes, one at the next at 40 minutes, and go from there. But there's some stunning laps in there. Top 10 stars are on 30 laps, so we'd have to see what we can do. Settings for the race. Assist settings. If you watch me all the time, you'll know what these are. Manual transmission, traction control 1, default ABS, everything else off. We throw in controller settings, open button configuration, doesn't matter about modifications on there. Controller sensitivity 0, force feedback 5, force feedback sensitivity 5, and we've got the AI running on game mode hard. So, we'll be ready, folks. Let's dive in. Get right onto the apex. Trail braking all the way in. Just going to roll across the line with plenty of fuel. That taking that extra 0.2 was worthwhile. So we've got a pit for definitely the extra bit of. Now I think we could be in trouble here. We're going to get around about 21 minutes. With 21 minutes to go. See the clock up there which says 23:41. We're going to try and run 10 laps on the last stint. Now, that'll leave us on 28 laps, and we just got to pop across the line. But that means we'll have to do 11 laps on this set of tyres. Do we go to mediums for the last stint, take the full load of juice and try and run all the way, or do we do softs and splash and dash at the end and try and take another set of softs on really light fuel weight on a real decent set of tyres? It's going to be a 20-second waste over 10 laps. If we're 2 seconds a lap slower on mediums than on softs over 10 laps, that's 20 seconds. That's the pit stop. I think I would rather do the tyre change, a splash and dash, and run for the line at the end. So we've got to try and do that. We're going to take the entire fuel load. We're going to... Oh, you chuffing knobhead. You've just missed the pits. Oh, you donkey doodah. Oh. No. You would... Oh. Oh, we were one... Oh. Oh. Got to chalk that one up to experience then, folks. So here we go, folks. I've just got to confirm some settings and we'll do that down the start finish straight. We just missed the apex in turn 1 with these soft tyres. One thing we need to do with these guys is just avoid them on the corners. Don't run your normal line into the apexes because the silly buggers break on the apex. So we've chucked the brake balance all the way to the front. We've got the fuel mapping on 1. We probably need for a bit more is just to turn that gear ratio just a little bit longer. That would probably help us. But as we go, it looks like we're going to get a 10 lap pit window. We need to do 10 lap stints. That's what I'm trying to say. Fuel usage looks good for that. That'll give us the potential of at least a 29er, because we'll do 2 stops. And if we can run, if we can actually run under 2 minutes for every lap, or very nearly 2 minutes for each lap, each pit stop's around 20 seconds. We should be at 24 seconds, I think it'll be. We should be able to be on the money of just pushing that 29th lap again, which we've done in the past. We know it's possible. We just need to drive these tyres in such a way that we get that 10 laps out of them. They are going to be extremely tricky to do, and we just need to be a little bit careful on these right-hand bends, just not to us cook this tyre, this right rear. So we're in 14th place now, coming to the end of lap 1. 19 seconds, almost 20 seconds from the front. And Mr. Portilla is dicing with Mr. Regalado. We can cut that apex just a little bit tighter, can't we? We can make speed down there. However, remember, don't go in line with these guys to the apex. They will brake on it and make you, they'll brake check you. This corner down here is a classic, so run wide. See how they really slowed down? Then they accelerate up. We're going to go up the inside. Don't hit them too hard. You don't want front bumper damage round here because you will wash out the front end at this next corner. See See how slow they are through the apex. They're also going to run a wide line around this corner. If we can get in on the inside of them, we're good. But don't slide that rear end too much. See if you can short shift through that corner and keep the back end going. You don't want it sliding. And with that, folks, don't forget to play the game on hard. I know I've said that in the intro, in the setup thing, but hard is the place to be. You'll enjoy the game much more. There'll be a bit more of a challenge, but it'll also be easier to win, because the AI will drive with a level of sensibility, and they won't be silly. They won't do stuff like that. They won't brake check you. See if we can just run him a bit wide, and we'll put him on the outside. Now, I wonder if there's some settings we can mess with, and this is probably something you can think about if you want to. Is there a setting in that rear diff? They're coming up the inside. See him dive bomb me there, or try to. Is there a setting in that rear diff that would allow the ability to just not wear those rears out quite so much? So the end of lap 3, Mr. Inostra, end of lap 2, sorry, Mr. Inostra currently holds the fastest lap. We've just knocked a wee bit off him there, 2:03.769. We want to get these lap times really quite down. We want to get them down to the 2:0s if we can. We're in 7th place and we're able to run a little bit more freely because there's gaps to the traffic in front. Try to keep that back end nice and tidy. We've lost it then. We don't need to be doing that. So, coming around to halfway around lap 3, 15 seconds behind the leaders. We're knocking some time off. We're expecting to do a 10-lap stint here. I've already said that, but I'm just reminding you where we are. Got to make these tyres last. So I'm going to just go steady on the brake in there. Going to just run an inside line. Not going to hit the wall. I am. And I got hit by the AA again. That's my fault for trying to be too conservative. Look at him brake there. That is just dirt fish. And I've just blown that there, trying to drive softly and conservatively. Oh, you swine. He's just such a frustrating thing. There's me trying to drive my own race and the AI get aggressive around you. It's just not good. Chase them, don't race them is the phrase I like to use. That should go away, that for a flashing front end. We need that to be gone by the time, there it goes. We need that to be gone by the time we get down this complex here. So that was another fastest lap of the race, but not as fast as we need it to be. We really need to be piling up. I might get a penalty for that. Yeah, there it is. I went too tight into that apex. You've got to put 2 wheels on the blue and white, which this doesn't help us, folks, but I'm only human. Catching up with 5th place, Mr. Solis. We're not putting in the kind of laps we really need to. So we have another option here, folks. We're going to try and do the 30 laps. Somebody's done it, and I don't know whether that was done way back when with the previous mods on the game, when, you know, when you could adjust the cambers to meet the PP. Well, in this game the PP doesn't really make a difference, it's horsepower and weight, but you used to be able to do some funky things with the suspension to make the car drive differently, and if that was set back then, well, that's a different kettle of fish. There's nothing we can do about that. Whilst we're on the 29s, we can just try and be better, see if we can improve the 20 lines to the top of the friends list. We're going to get the penalty at the start of the start-finish straight, aren't we? which will really impact our straight line speed through there, but never know. Fastest lap on this race, on this lap. Pit entrance is just to the left hand side here, folks. You can really hammer it into there, but you just have to be wary about cutting that pit lane entrance line. A second is quite a significant penalty at this part of the track. You just watch, we're up with that guy. Look how far away he gets. So we're in 5th place. A 2:04 on that lap, so we're probably 3 seconds slow on each lap, in all fairness. He's going to really brake on this corner. Get round him. Round the outside, round the outside. Back end just broke free there as we came over the crest, and I hit that apex. That's rubbish. Back end's a bit fighty, so tyres looking about half done. That rear right, fronts are looking fairly good, but the rear right's looking a bit ropey. We need to try and manage that to get it to the end of these 10 laps. That was better, but the back end still wants to slide and push. We don't really want that to happen. We don't mind about the lefts. The left hand side tyres can rub and scrub as much as they like, because they're not going to be anywhere near to die in. Just be gentle around that corner there. 12 seconds off the lead, so the guys are just slightly pulling it away, because we've not actually been making the best progress, I must admit. This won't have a fastest lap on it, will it? Because we've had the slow across the start finish line at the start of the lap. So a 2:02, 2:03, 006, that was a fastest lap even with that. So this lap should be an absolute ding doodler, if there's such a thing as a ding doodler. We'll take the wide line, there we go. Sliding the car around the outside. I'm going to try and take the inside line here a bit. No, we still wash wide. Straight line the car out of there on the brakes before that light shining through the trees. Purple sector at this point of the lap looks friendly. Slid the car into there, which isn't good for those rear tyres. Short shifted up to 5th. Let's let the car push up the hill. We're on lap 6 and that back tyre looks now over halfway done, so that's on target where we're going to be. Probably slowed down a bit too much there. 1.3 seconds up on the fastest lap. This is... Oh, the front end washed a bit there, but maybe that was just pushing a wee bit hard. We could have just held off just a fraction as we exited that corner, but this should still be a fastest lap. It takes a lot to lose 1.3 seconds a lap, doesn't it really? Hopefully we got both tyres on the blue and white. Ah, we didn't, and it's a bigger penalty. Look at that, that's rubbish. We were just trying to steal some time there. A 2:02.176, so we took nearly a second off that and got penalised for it. See how much we tried to borrow there and the car drifted. Trying to make time up, but we don't seem to be able to do it. Maybe it's my driving style, maybe it's traction control. We know it's traction control that's the difference, and the car slides a real lot with traction control on one anyway. So I've always explained why I use traction control, and that's because I've got a club foot. I don't know the difference between on and off. It is either on or off. I don't do a lot of throttle modulation. You can see that from the way I drive. I keep my foot planted from the floor, from the point of acceleration to the point of braking. I don't feather the throttle. I use the traction control to do that, and yes, it's probably slower to do that, but I get less spin outs. I'm facing the wrong way less often. We need to do 3 more laps on this set of tyres. We don't actually. We could actually run 9, 10, 10. So if we wanted to, we can pit on 9. And a bit of a longer penalty here, so we're going to suffer a bit. And I've also set myself a challenge as well. I've got a drink for the pit stop, but I haven't poured it. So the can is open and I've got the challenge of pouring myself a drink into a pint glass of ice. It's going to explode everywhere, we know it is, but we've got a time limit to do that whilst in the pits. So just like to set myself these little extra challenges. If we can do the 10th lap, we'll do it. Because looking at this, folks, we're at the 44-minute mark. We've got 15 seconds plus on that. But we've been running some really moderate slow laps. So if we can get the 10th lap in on these tyres, we're actually not too badly off. Look at that, we had a 1.5 second penalty as we started this lap, yet we're only half a second off the lap time, the previous lap time best, and we really slow through that corner. Front tyres are starting to show wear. That back right as we go on to lap 9. The other two up front, first and second, have just pitted. They've got much better fuel usage than we have, but they've only done 8 laps on those tyres. Use the wall. We don't seem to get any penalty for that. So can I get 2 more laps out of these tyres is the question. Fourth gear. We don't want to lose the back end, just keep it straight. We've now got into the lead by 13 seconds. So they're out the pit. Go. Starting trying to make that decision now as to whether that 10th lap on these tyres is the right thing to do, on the premise that we've actually done half a lap more on these tyres because of the out lap for the start of the race. And I don't know if it considers that within the tyre wear. I think we're pretty comfortable at this point. I think we'll get that lap in. I'm going to risk it. I know we're going to be at roughly 20 and a half minutes, but if we get that 10th lap in on these tyres, it means the last stint only has to be on 9 laps, and we're just coming round to lap the first of the tail enders. Just need to continue that level of caution. Mr. Park. Now we're going to go round the outside here. Short shifting so we don't lose the back end. We're doing okay, it feels good. It's going to be a slower lap, I think, because of the caution we're taking. We're dropping down to the 40 minutes now, so we've took 20 minutes to do the first 10 laps at this point. Definitely know that next time we do this race, I'm going to change that gear ratio up. That back right one is looking alright. It looks like we're going to get to the end. We're pitting now. Look at it, it's just got 1 pixel width of whiteness in the tyres. There we go, we're going back to sports, keeping on sports. We're going to take 10 laps of fuel whilst I just make myself my drink and then get a slather as we go. There we go. Oh, cheers folks, happy days. A little bit of a refresh. So pit stop, 25 seconds to get to the actual pit box, and then we're going to come out on 10 laps. We want 10 laps of fuel. It's flowing in quite a lot. It's going to be over 40 seconds this pit stop. 9, 10, 10.4 we got. Well, that's not bad. We were 22 seconds ahead, so we anticipate we're 50 seconds ahead. How is that a thing? Other people have pitted, haven't they? Yes, they have. Everybody else is pitted behind us on the 10th lap. Excellent. So we've got to do 10 laps again. Got to make these tyres last just as much. Right folks, let's do a bit of commentary. We haven't done any for a while. We are now 8.3 seconds in the lead, so we made time during the pit stop. The undercut was successful. We have Mr. Fraga following in second, Mr. Inostra in third, Mr. Pinell in fourth, Pounder in fifth, Solis in sixth, Grady in seventh, and Regalado in eighth. Not feeling any pressure because we're almost 10 seconds in the lead. Fastest lap of the race so far at 2:02.176 back on our 6th lap. We're carrying slightly less fuel, and the tyres look to be like they're going to be around about the same sort of wear, but we've got to do 10 laps. And then we're going to short fuel for the last stint and do 9. Now what is the last Mr. Park? He must have claimed his place back as we pitted. Just turned the front end in. Oh no, 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 no. Back end just got a bit fishy squirrely then. We lost a bit of time, but the damage ultimately wasn't that bad. The worst thing about that was the tyre wear. We've put some laps in here, you know, folks. We've done the pounding around this tarmac many, many times. I'm really pleased with that 29 laps that we did prior. That's going to take some beating. That's all going to be down to setup and just getting everything right, absolutely right in the race. No mistakes at all. So I do urge you to go back and look at the previous attempts. They're well worth it in terms of just those little hints and tips. Understanding how the race progresses. I think we'll get a penalty there. I think we borrowed too much. That'll be the 3rd penalty of the race. We were quite lucky then. I haven't seen how we're going against the fastest lap time, purely because we made that mistake earlier in the lap. We're up to 11 seconds in the lead, so just 1 or 2 seconds at a time. They are going to pit earlier than us. They're going to pit around lap 16. We're going to pit around lap 20. If we've messed up and we've burned the tyres a bit, we can pit on lap 19, end of lap 19. And we can try and make a 10 lap run in 10 lap stint in the last session. These one-make races are really quite good. The issue though with this race is you couldn't run mediums and run 15 laps and try to do it with 1 stop. I don't think that would work. You could run mediums and attempt to run a lower amount of fuel, so you could run 13 laps, and then a 4-lap stint at the end. But I just don't think you get the consumption out of the engine. I don't think you could push the engine that much further. There's no turbo options. If you put the air filter on, you could probably get better fuel economy, you know, even though you'd run slightly slower laps. That might be an actual option for the next time we run this. Slightly longer gears, we'll run the air filter and then just limit the engine throttle a bit, so we run slightly slower lap times, but we run long enough to just get the 1 pit stop, because you'll get better economy with more airflow into the engine. So 14 seconds in the lead there, just catching Mr. Bayliss. He's just gone wide for us. And then he's going to drag race us down the start-finish straight, but he gave up easy. We're just about to enter lap 14 with 7 laps to go, which is just bang on target. 3 cars coming out the pits. Just give us plenty of room to get round that corner. There was a bit of hesitation there as went into there. I wonder if there was a bit of a calamity back there and lots of physics going on. It sounded like the back wheels lit up then. What we don't want is that front end aero damage. So you can see again, as we are on the 4th lap, we are wearing those rears significantly more than we are the fronts. Not much happening behind us. Mr. Inostra's overtaken Fraga though. He's made his way past. That will explain us making some advantage then on the old timer, up to 16 seconds in front. That'll explain that, because those two will have been battling, slowing each other down some. Braked a wee bit early there, but I was just trying to go easy on the rear tyre. Didn't really want to throw it into that slow speed corner. On to lap 5, and we're definitely less than 50% usage on that rear tyre. That's good. If we can get to the end of this lap on the 50, that's us on target. Just dropped an extra cog there just to steady the car as went into that corner. Keep it in 5th, keep the wheels spinning, turn in rather than spinning. You don't want them spinning. I've gone deep into there, but we're going to turn it in, try and straighten the wheels and accelerate out. Don't want to lose the back end that much. Brake before that light coming through the trees. A late apex which we hit, which is never fun. Well done, and we get a purple sector, that's good. Try and keep it tight without the slide. Dive into this first part of the apex, back on the gas, don't run it too wide, avoid the wall, there we go. Push on, up the hill. I think we definitely need more gear, we'll get better economy with longer gears as well. 21 seconds on the seconds into the lead now. Inostra looks to be pulling away from Fraga, although that's a complete guess because I've got absolutely no idea of the timing between the two. But I can only imagine Inostra's got the pace on Fraga at this time of day. 0.6 of a second up on a fastest lap time. Mr. Caraza. Don't slide. Tyres look to be on target for the end of that lap. Go. Going to change to 3rd as we cross that curb. Beautiful, this should be a hot lap. 24 seconds into the lead now. So if they pit in for a 44-second pit stop, that puts us in the lead by a minute. Somebody else is just emerging from the pits. That was a 101. Mr. Rubilar, gonna have to go round you, Signor. We did. Go a 2:01.059 was the fastest lap that we put in last time. That was some 1.5 seconds faster than we've done before, and that makes sense because we've had 1.5 seconds before, and we've had 1.5 second penalties before, and we've still set fastest laps. So the biggest hurdle we have, as I said at the start, is the AI. They really do perform great, fantastic blocking moves at a certain part of the race, and we're actually a second down on our previous lap at this point. On lap 16, looking at the rears, we're looking good. We're looking good to get this through to the end of this stint of 10 laps. It's just whether we'll get that 19th lap again. One of the key things we could do with adding things like the air filter, because you'll be adding, you won't be adding weight, but what you'll be doing is you'll be dropping the PP. You'll be dropping the power output of the probably got another penalty there as I'm thinking. And what happens? Mr. Innestrosa goes to the pits. I think we've just managed to get away with that time in there on that corner. That's great. Mr. Innestrosa and Mr. Fraga go in. Mr. Innestrosa using significantly more fuel, 6% more. But they're going to chase each other round, so there's a chance that Innestrosa will be longer in the pits, 6% longer than Fraga. My guess is though there'll be 3 stopping because they won't make it to the end. We're on lap 17, we're looking good. We're looking good on the pace. I think we're currently going to be a way bit short for that. We might not make that 19th lap. But we haven't done this race for a while, so let's see where we go. Mr. Kajal. Oh, I've hit that hard, haven't I? See if we can go down on his left-hand side. Bottom out of it there, don't we really? We slammed the front of the car into that dip. So we're going to have 3 laps to do as we come round to complete this lap. We dived a bit deep there, putting extra pressure on the tyres. Don't need to do that. So we've done 507 miles in this car, 106 in the lead. But we are a pit stop to go. We're a pit stop up on these guys. They've had one more than we have. But ultimately, we're going to stop for around about 44 seconds, which will still give us 23 seconds in the lead, which I think we'll come out with more than that, to be honest. Last lap was in the 203s, which isn't great, but we did get that slight issue at the end of the court lap where I bounced off some curbs and then got stuck behind Mr. Kajal, or Kahal, depending on how you pronounce that J. Where are we on the time? 23:22. So that's going to give us a challenge to get through to the end. But not forgetting, there has been physics and tyre wear changes and grip rate changes since we last did this. I'm not saying we're perfect by any means. We're coming round to lap Mr. Park again. He's obviously had another pit stop in the way. He moved out to give us some room. Well done. Now just don't get in my way again. He's going to come round and just be difficult. We need to do 2 more laps on these tyres. I think we've got plenty of tyre left. That was a better attack into the corner. Still got the fastest lap. None of them guys are looking like they're going to be contenders for fastest lap. 2:01.059. Was a 2:02, so I'm 3/4 of a second down on our previous best. We very consistent, are we, at this circuit? Mr. Felix, going to put you behind us as you were quite slow through there. Managed to hold that. Don't need to do that. Need another lap out of this bad boy. We need to come out of the pits with 18 minutes remaining. Maybe 18 minutes and 20 seconds would be 18 minutes and 30 we would need to come out of the pits after the next lap to make sure we're on with a chance of getting that 29th lap. There's a chance we could be there, you know, but I think we might be entering the pits with 18:30 left. Trying to do the maths in my head as we go. Maybe I need to short shift out of there in fourth to try and stop the... It went. We just got light as we went over the crest. Mr. Hayward goes to the pits. He's got 10% left on mediums. 10% of fuel, that is. Be great if we could see their lap time. So that rear right is now starting to really suffer. The back end wasn't wanting to go around that corner. They're going to brake early. So we got 20:27. If we put 2 laps in now, we're gonna. If we put a 2-minute lap in, we're gonna be entering the pits at 18 something. But not forgetting, we're gonna cut that corner off. Yeah, this is gonna be tight for that 29th lap. Don't apply too much throttle through there, just once you've got the car square and settled, then put your toe down. We're making our way through the field. We seem to have lapped the tail enders twice because of our pits stops. But as we go to the pits, a number of cars behind us will also follow us in, even though they're going to be some... Well, the leaders, but the second place car is 1 minute and 20 seconds behind us. So with that being the case, Pinel, Solis, Regalado, Grady, Portilla, they are somewhat further behind. We're alright for fuel with 0.6 of a lap remaining. That back right tyre is looking still like it needs a holiday. Why is there a sign saying no stopping coming up the hill? I've got no intention of stopping. Mr. Grady's gone to the pits then. We're going to take 9 laps of fuel. Let's go in. 18:30 as we entered. Take sport tyres. And then sup on your drink. 3% of fuel left. I don't know whether we're going to get a chance there. But you're seeing it warts and all, folks. There's nothing hidden. This is just how it happens. So really worn on the rears. But we're going to go for 9 laps and we're going to push hard. So at this point, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We went at 8.7. Oh, that could be trouble. I just went a fraction too early. Mr. Cahal, don't do it. He did. And he continues to be slow. Mr. Hayward in 11th place. get down the inside of this fella. We need to be faster. Mr. Pinnell's gone to the pits. We're still showing 1 minute. Oh, look, the time's ticking down. 101, 59, 58. Just going to break that little bit later. See if we can get some speed through this part of the race. Mr. Portilla in 10th place, we're behind. Most of the crew are now going to the pits on their 20th lap. Was a bit heavy. Ooh, shocker. So look, 7.9. We'd have run out of fuel just there as we were coming round to the... So we've just got to do a little bit of short shifting and a little bit of fuel conserving too. I'm going to lift off early to try and save a bit of juice. Come through there, not on the gas really at all. So I'm just going to lift off a few times early and just brake. Just let the car coast into the corners a bit. Short shift out of there. I think it's important that we get to the line with fuel. We can charge all the way to the line then, rather than having to let off and see if we can coast across. I think we've actually missed the opportunity anyway. I think we won't be on target. I don't think we've managed to put in consistent low enough times around the 2 minute mark. We've always been high on the 202s. No stopping, folks. To catch Mr. Felix in 9th place again. Oh, we shot through there, didn't we? Never good. 105 seconds in the lead, and I don't think we'll... It would be good if they pit again and we can actually overtake them and put them all behind us, because that means coming around to the end, that last lap we can definitely do at 50 mile an hour with no fuel. Mr. Felix, I'm going to go up your right hand side. Just going to lift. Next time round we did a 202, 206, so still a second slower than our fastest, but we were trying to conserve fuel as well, so Mr. Grady in 8th place. See alongside us, no, he's behind now. 108 in the lead, just making a bit of time. Still don't think we're going fast enough to be able to make that final lap. So 111, 112 in the lead, 11 minutes to go, and we're on lap 4. So we're about 30 seconds short, it looks like, of getting to the finish line. And it looks like we might not be saving enough fuel anyway. Mr. Solace, we're going to go around the outside, thank you very much. We need to find around about 30 seconds, and I don't think we're going to do it over these laps, folks. So this could be a 28er. 4 more laps to go. Look how much shorter that line is, how much quicker. 1 minute 13 in the lead. We're doing 2:02s. I wouldn't say they're consistent, they're pretty much all over the place. We're going to brake a bit later, and we're going to run it really deep. Still can't keep it between the yellow lines, but hey. Let's have a look at what the fuel is as we go over the line. See if we've got a round number. It won't matter if we're only going to lap 28, because we'll run out of lap time, but going on to lap 25. Mr. Pounder in 5th. He seems to be leaving us room. Get some draft off him. .9. It looks like we've got enough fuel to do what we need to do now. So now we're going to push. We actually took off there. Came through there immensely fast. Minute 20 seconds in the lead. Even though that really means little, what it does mean is if we can be 2 minutes 2 ahead or more, lap these guys, it means we don't have to worry about that last lap. Innestrosa's gone to the pits, so if we can get in, we're 1 minute 34 ahead of Fraga. Pounder's gone to the pits. That's the fastest lap we've ever done. That's a 2:0. We don't want Mr. Pinnell to... Oh, you... He braked for that apex, didn't he? That really didn't help us. We've lost the wash on the front end, so we're going to be slow. Oh, I got rabbit headlighted then. Didn't know where to go. I knew if I flinched, I'd be off the road to the right. I just had to hit him. There's nothing I can do. We're suffering washout at the front now because we've got damage at the front. Oh, one with D's. Get out of the way, you slap tackle. Mr. Bayliss in 18th place. Coming to put a second lap on you, brother. And after putting in that cracking lap, 2-second lap, which is where we need to be. We need to be better than 2 seconds, but go up the inside of Mr. Joyce. Minute 55 ahead, so just 7 seconds more and we've got these boys. Why do they come out the pits? Mr. Fraga just at the wrong place. I actually negotiated that better this time. That was all down to me, just like it was the last time. It was entirely my fault. 5 minutes to go. We're on lap 27 and I'm just going too wide. Wow, the car just didn't grip under braking. And there it goes again. I'm just making so many mistakes. That last lap was a 2:05, which is just it's just terrible. Car's all over the place. It's not wanting to do what I want it to do. Maybe the tyres are going off. We're on lap 27. 4 minutes to go. 2 more laps. We're going to be halfway round. I don't know what's going to happen. My brain is mashed. We're going to be halfway. Oh, I don't know. It depends where we are at the end of the lap. This is going to be incredibly close. I think we're going to blow it though, folks. I'm not confident at all. Just washed out again there. Just failing to keep the brakes on at the key point. Looks like the tyres are going to be well ample going for a 9-lap last stint. Need to put a decent lap in here. So we got 3:02. So we're going to come round onto lap 28. We're going to do it, folks. We're going to get lap 29 again. We're going to do it. This is a good turnout. Being overcritical of myself, I've made some mistakes and I've really undercalculated this. We just don't need any accidents. If we spit it off now, I'll be just... Oh, I'll take myself outside and beat myself to death. I'll drink the hose pipe for a week. Let's not throw it away now. We've had some shoddy laps. You keep waving that blue flag, Marshall. You do a fine job. Not going to criticise. It's the drivers who ignore you. Mr. and Ostra in second place. We're coming round to show you our tail. We're going to lap you fully. We're going to be on lap 29 again. It's a 29 seconds, 29 lap strategy, this one. Mr. and Ostra, I'm going up your inside. He's just spun me out. He's just nerfed me. It's actually good though, we've still done it. I just want to beat him across the line. not going to. I'm all over the show. The car's just not driving the way I want it to. I might run out of fuel just before the finish line. That is just sour grapes spinning me off. If that drops to 0.9, it has. We're going to run out of fuel about there, and we'll coast across the line. But let's just push on now. Lap 29 is ours. He's braked. What an absolute Chinaman. And by that I mean a left-hand braking ball from a fast left-arm bowler. Catches you out every time when that ball breaks. If you know your cricket analogies, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not a derogatory term about our East Asian friends. It's a proper cricketing term, a Chinaman. And it definitely catches you out when you're batting. However, let's push on. We've lapped everybody. We've done some shonky laps. We're going to run out of fuel before the line. I know that. I'm going to lift off at the top of here and a coast all the way down to try and save the fuel to get us to the line. Short shift again. I can see him behind us. It doesn't matter about this lap time, we just don't want to run out of fuel. To lift off. See how slow he was on the apex there. .2 to go. 0.1. We're going to cross the line under power now. There we go, beautifully done. 29 laps. Happy with that. Cheers, folks. So let's just refresh that. Let's just have an understanding of where that was going. Everybody lapped. 12th place was lapped twice. And we lapped 20th 3 times, Mr. Park. Fastest lap was a 2-minute 8:87. We just click through the replay. We don't need to see that today. And let's have a look at the leaderboard, the ranking board. We're not going to improve. We don't. We stay in 3rd place. But what do you expect after being tipped off? But what improvements could we make? We could just lengthen the gears fractionally, and we could also play with that setup a little bit by adding the air filter maybe. Just restrict the output on the ECU, even though it's the normal ECU. We could just restrict the output just to get us underneath that horsepower limit, which would be better because we get better fuel economy and we'd probably go longer. Don't know how much. That's something we can test. But with that, folks, 29 laps is there. Mr. Maguire's done 30, as you can see. And that, I was probably, best part of a minute 45 seconds shy. But it'd be good to understand what Mr. Maguire has done there. And on the old top 10 stars, yeah, 30 laps is the way to go. So it's well possible. We'll have to work out how we do that. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care. 156 miles. What do we get? 4 stars. What do you want for? That's a win, folks. Come on.